Hi, it's Gabrielle Usatinsky, and this is your Power Couple Relationship Tip. Today I'm going to talk about origin stories and how understanding your origin story can help you determine your attachment style. So a lot of you have been asking, okay, so now that I have this basic understanding of attachment style, what do I do with this? How can I go further with this? And so we're going to talk about how to do that today. If you like what you learn in this video, please go to thepowercoupleformula.com for lots of great information about how to enhance your relationship. Please subscribe to this channel, hit the thumbs up, and leave me your comments below. I love to see what's on your mind. Now, if you've been following these videos, you'll see that the first four were about your attachment style and the different attachment styles and how to figure out what yours is, what your partner's is. Today, we're going to talk about your origin story. Now, your origin story basically refers to your particular childhood upbringing and how it affected your ability to be in relationship as an adult. The term origin story is a word that you find in American comic books, in movies, and all kinds of different media that refers to the backstory of a hero or a villain that describes how they came to be the person that they are. And how they developed their superpowers. So in the whole comic book and movie realm, origin stories give us an understanding of where the character came from, how they came to struggle in the ways that they struggle, and whatever kind of redeeming qualities they have. And it just gives us a deeper understanding of the character, and it adds tremendous depth and meaning to the character's journey. Similarly, it's important that you and your partner understand where you came from, understand your origin story. And that means being able to take a deep dive into your personal history, especially your history between the ages of 0 and 12. What's interesting about superheroes and their origin stories is that very often they had very tragic origin stories. For instance, like Batman's parents got murdered, Captain America got polio when he was little, and then he was given this special serum that turned him into this kind of bionic soldier who could save the world. And Superman, his home planet blew up. So, very often these characters that turn out to be real heroes and superheroes with superpowers actually come from these very dark, tragic, devastating kind of beginnings. And that's actually one of the things that makes them so appealing and so relatable, is that they have this kind of, they go through this kind of redemptive process. And the fact is, we're all like that, because many of us come from very, very difficult, tragic childhoods, but we're able to rise above. We're able to somehow overcome that in every area of our life. And that's really the kind of amazing thing about being human and becoming everything that you are, is that you don't have to be bound by your history, but you still have to know what happened to you so that it doesn't have to rule your life. Understanding your origin story is really, really helpful when it comes to understanding your relationship and making it better. Because a lot of times people are acting out in relationship. By acting out, what I mean is they're blaming each other, they're criticizing each other, yelling, fighting all the time with no repair, whatever it is. And they really don't understand why they're doing what they're doing, and they don't understand their partner's behavior either. And as we've talked about in these earlier videos, we know that all of our behavior in relationship actually comes from somewhere, and it predates the relationship that you're in right now. Because of these relationship blueprints that we form when we're very little and that we bring with us into our adult relationships, we're going to get into trouble with our partner if we don't understand that fundamental blueprint that we have. so that we can start making different choices. And understanding your origin story is exactly what that's about. It means you understand why you're getting into trouble now, what it is that happened to you when you were a child, that you're now continuing on in your own relationship. So understanding your strengths and your weaknesses in relationship, your superpowers, and maybe there's a part of you that's kind of a super villain in relationships sometimes, but you want to understand all of these different parts so that you don't have to be just running on automatic here. There's so much blaming and criticizing of people in relationships, calling people narcissists and blaming people for being too needy and codependent and all of these kinds of terms that we use to describe dysfunctional behavior that people are experiencing. But the thing is that, when we really understand where our behavior comes from, it has a really relieving effect on all of that, because suddenly everything starts to make so much sense. And we understand that all behavior is adaptive. We have to learn certain behavioral patterns in order to be able to survive in the kind of family that we were born into. And if you think about it that way, you realize that it's actually a sign of wisdom that we were able to work out a way to make it in our family of origin, which might have meant, we had to shut down parts of ourselves, or we became arrogant, and we had to feel, better than other people because we actually felt so bad about ourselves inside, or we had to take care of other people at our own expense. All of these types of strategies that we see so often in relationships are things that people learn very early in life because they had to, because that was the only way that they were going to be able to maintain a sense of connection with their parents, which is what every child needs in order to thrive. The bottom line is, it's time to get out of the blame game and start understanding the truth behind where we came from and what these formative experiences were that shaped us, that created the kinds of ideas and attitudes and sort of implicit assumptions that we have that drive the way we show up in relationship. To understand those about ourselves and also about our partner. And that's really going to up the empathy in your relationship. You and your partner are going to start to develop a greater level of compassion for each other, and start to see each other in ways that you never have before. And suddenly, ways that your partner is behaving with you that might be really problematic for you are going to start to make so much sense to you. Especially when you can understand the link between that behavior today and what they experienced in childhood. So with everything from Wonder Woman's incredible super feminine powers to Superman being paralyzed by kryptonite, you're going to have a deep understanding of what your partner is really struggling with and who they really are. And the value of that is that then you and your partner can actually start to really help each other. Because the deeper the understanding you have of who you're with and where they come from and what their deepest vulnerabilities are, the more you're going to be able to understand exactly what they need from you in order to become the best person that they can possibly be. And they can do the same for you. And that's something that you can't achieve by yourself. You actually need another person in order to receive that kind of understanding, that kind of reflection, that kind of knowing, and that kind of support and healing. It's a real reason to be in relationship at all. So in the Power Couple formula, I teach couples exactly how to create these kinds of transformations in their relationship, including how to make use of the origin story to create an amazing relationship. So if you like what you learned today in this video, please go to thepowercoupleformula.com if you'd like to know more about how to create a fantastic relationship with your partner. Please hit the subscribe button, give it a like, and leave me a comment below about what you'd like to know about your own origin story. And I will look forward to seeing you in the next video.